I've been living on the ranch for just over 10 years. Moved here in the fall of 2009. Living on the ranch has been awesome, but honestly what it's shown me is this new lifestyle that we're living. It was a lifestyle that we didn't live before, and it was a lifestyle we talked about living. Because I didn't ride horses before getting here, I didn't work cattle, I wasn't a rancher, I wasn't a fix-it guy, I didn't have a lot of that ranching experience, and because I'm more so focused on trying to lead and inspire the team, I think for me what I enjoy most about being on the ranch really is watching everybody in their elements really come alive in the things that they're doing, seeing the smiles on their faces, and knowing that I get to help make their dreams come true. My roles on the ranch vary from day to day. We're definitely out here on the ranch oftentimes wearing many hats. You know, we've always said that you have to be a jack of all trades, and if you're not, you better figure out how to be, or be willing to be, because there's not oftentimes the opportunity to call somebody to come in and do the roles that you need to do. So my role day to day when I'm not doing business stuff would be doing maintenance and facility stuff. Do I have a favorite ranch chore? Actually, it would probably be barbecuing. Got this huge, massive oak grill that oftentimes people have never seen one before. It's a great time to chat with guests. Right? That's just a really coming around the dinner table, come together experience. And most people that come out here to join us for the oak barbecue have never barbecued before. So it's a first time experience for them, so I get to teach them how to barbecue. And a lot of folks end up really enjoying that and appreciate the tips that I have there for them. The gun range as well, so I spend a lot of time out at the gun range teaching folks how to safely shoot firearms. And I'll tell you, we've had a lot of first-time shooters, and it's been great. We've been able to help a lot of people pick up a gun for the very first time, feel safe, feel comfortable, they'll be able to manage it well, know how to safely shoot, and then enjoy it, right, and have a good time doing it. So that's really rewarding as well, helping folks shoot. It's interesting, it's not part of my day-to-day per se, but what I'm really most passionate about teaching people, it really has nothing to do with the ranch directly, it's more indirectly, but it really is helping folks with aches and pains in their joints. I guess one of the jobs that I failed to mention, one of my roles on the ranch that I failed to mention earlier is health and wellness coach. I do spend a lot of time helping our team get over aches and pains in their joints and their back, those sorts of things. Right, so with my time in school and kinesiology and with my time running and professionally and personally, I learned a lot about how to manage your own health and wellness, how to manage joint pain. I was running 100 miles a week, every week for years, and so in order to do that and not have your knees fall apart and have your hips come out of joint and socket, those sorts of things, I learned how to take care of my body, and then I've been able to part that wisdom on others, and then I've come up with a number of tools that you can use at home to do your own deep tissue massage work. So over the years, I have actually had the opportunity to help a lot of guests on the ranch. Indirectly, they're at the ranch and they say, I can't get on the horse because of my hip or my back hurts, and so I say, oh really, tell me about that, and tell me more, and the next thing we know, we're doing a rolling session. So I get all my tools out, and they're laid out in the house or out on outside somewhere, and we're going at it, and I'm showing them how to roll out their muscles and how to break out all that myofascial tissue and how to get the freedom in their joints again. And so I think I'm probably most passionate about that because I truly believe that that's a life-giving skill, right? It's something that people can take with them. I give them the links that they need to go buy those tools, and they can take those tools and they can apply the same practices, the same rolling techniques day after day, month after month, year after year. And I've heard back from a number of folks that said, man, I've been able to run for the last year just because of what you've taught me. And so I really enjoy teaching people here things to do on the ranch, but really most passionate about equipping people with the tools and the knowledge that they need to manage their own health. I've enjoyed memorizing quite a bit of scripture over the years. And what's really cool about Bible verses is you can have a favorite for a season, and then your life changes, and you enter a new season, and maybe the challenges, the obstacles. It's so cool. You'll read a passage in scripture, you'll read a morning devotion, and then you'll read it 6 months later, a year later, and boom, it just blows you over, and you think, man, how did I miss this the first time, right? So relative to our current situation and this season that we're in, what's really cool is we were inspired when we started the ranch to use a Bible verse as the theme. To the seemingly impossible task of taking over this sinking ship, turning it around, getting it to float again, and then even getting it to not just float, but to sail. That felt really impossible, and so it was cool. We were praying over it, and one evening we found Matthew 19:26, which says, "With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." And naturally, that tied into our name, and so the S in the bar SZ, the S is the 19th letter of the alphabet, and Z is the 26th. So that verse was really the inspiration for us naming, and not just naming the ranch, but really naming our brand, right? Because our brand is even bigger than this location. It's bigger than Michelle and I. It's bigger than what we're doing right here now today. We really were inspired to try to create a brand name that was all-encompassing, that was all-inclusive. It wasn't about the Borland family. It wasn't about any one person, but also transcend, any one idea too, and just this believing and really living by this truth that all things are possible when God's in it is pretty awesome. And that's really inspired us and our team to even go after and do more things than we ever thought were possible. I keep thinking that someday I'm going to figure out what I want to do, right? Someday I'm going to say, this is it. This is what I was born to do. I've struggled with the juxtaposition, the sort of the worldly thinking that says, hey, figure out what it is that you want to do and go do it. And then I think there's this new way of thinking that a lot of people are applying, which says, hey, go figure something out for some period of time, and then recognize and understand that that's going to be a building block into what you do next. So what do I want to do next might be a little bit harder of a question, but I love looking back and seeing that there was a time where I had a catering business, and I'm cooking for armies of people now, and that's really helpful. And there was a season where I was an endurance athlete. And I'll tell you, when you have to work 12 and 14, 16-hour days, 6 and 7 days a week, it's really helpful to be an endurance athlete. And all the time I spent being an endurance athlete, I really had to develop a really strong, sound mind to be able to persevere and endure the long miles and the long distances and the long tasks. And I would spend sometimes multiple days out on the road running day after day and learning how to change my way of thinking. And I've been able to now apply that way of thinking into starting a business. Right? Starting a business is so difficult. There's so many days where you think I'm not going to make it to the next mile marker. So it is really cool to get here today and realize the different seasons that I've experienced in the past have led me to here. I can see why I'm doing what I'm doing. My wife and my kids are clearly in their giftings. I mean, they are being shaped into be the young men and women that I really think God has called and purposed and created them to be. I think really we're starting now to dig a little deeper, and the last couple of years we've been working at the surface level. I think the next season for us is more intentionality, is to really anchor in why we're doing what we're doing, and I truly believe that will help develop our business into the next season.